All right, today we're going to be jumping back into the Bitcoin price action. Still the weekend, so not too much to talk about here, but we did get a little bit of a move upwards here on Bitcoin, and especially in the altcoin market. We are starting to see those risk on assets really start running and outperforming Bitcoin here locally, and that goes along with my thesis that this next wave in the market is going to be where expansion happens, and we do see altcoin season, but we'll talk about altcoins later on in this video. I want to first start off here looking at the Bitcoin price action because we did get out of our range. We were talking about in my last video how we were stuck in this daily range within here is a very tight range, and the direction we broke out of this range was going to be very important, and luckily we have broken to the upside. So that's really awesome to see. This failed auction that we had down here was able to hold as the low, and now that we are above our value area high of our previous day, this is going to act as big support, and that also lines up perfectly with a potential bear flag we're creating right now. But do I think it's a bearish pattern? Not really. They tend to break to the upside and downside about 50% of the time, so they're not too reliable when it does come to that, but it can give us a grasp on just where price is likely to find support and resistance. You know, it is staying within this trend here, and you can see that value area high on the volume profile over here is coming in right on the bottom side of that trend. So it makes a lot of sense for us to come back down, test the previous day's value area high as support before coming on up here. And I do think we're going to start holding this midline as support, and that's where we do start wanting to break out to the upside, and the breakout of this flag should be pretty violent. Since it is a quote-unquote bear flag, I'm sure a lot of shorts are looking at this thinking it's bearish, and they're going to be shorting this flag, hoping for price to go down, which could give us just more fuel to the upside on that potential break higher. Another big volume level we do have is our monthly value area low, as well as this whole visible range within here, that point of control. If this will load here on the right, you will see this change to where we have the point of control right at this level as well. So certainly could come down to about that like 66, 250. So pretty much around the same level, but what this could do is potentially create some sort of fake break to the downside, and that could trap even more shorts at the bottom because there'll be breakout shorting, and this is where you could potentially get even more fuel to the upside, trapping those retail shorts that are trying to do breakout trading. And that's why I do not recommend you trade patterns. While they can certainly play out sometimes, I would say the majority of the time we do break out of one of these patterns, it's a fake break, and you'll see a reversal at least back to the mean. But I'm not saying there's no confluences for a short right now. If you are bearish on price, you do think this bear flag is going to play out. We did have an hourly bearish divergence within here, so you can see higher highs on price, lower highs on RSI very locally, but you can see these wicks are right at about the same level. A third drive of that bearish divergence and a sweep of those poor highs is the more likely thing to happen, even if we are bearish. So, you know, potentially, yeah, we go ahead, tap the top side of that bearish flag one more time, maybe find resistance up here at the previous day and the weekly point of control, filling more of these imbalances in here before heading back down, and that could be a potential short for you if you are bearish on price. But if you've been watching this channel, you know I have a bullish bias for a lot of reasons, and I do not believe shorts are the right move right here, and that is why I'm in a long from down here at the lows. But even though I might have a bullish bias, we're not going to be biased on this channel. We do see shorts opening up at these highs. Up here you can see open interest going up, CVD going down, and price did in fact follow through. So the fact that price is following through to the downside with those shorts opening means that shorts are probably on the right side of the market here. But just like yesterday, how I talked about we had a bearish divergence within here where we had price actually downtrending and longs were opening, meaning that longs were getting absorbed by sellers and that they were on the wrong side of the market because it was on a shorter term time frame. All we did was have one red 5-minute candle to sweep out those long positions before the reversal took place, and you saw longs get back on the right side of the market until the highs right here where you do see a lot of longs FOMOing into price action. And this could be a reason we're getting a smaller pullback on the short term here is that we just had a lot of longs trying to FOMO into the top of these candles, and price likes to flush out those top longers before reversing. And you know, the fact we got shorts opening after this happens, it makes sense that yeah, we have another one of these quick flushes, but that doesn't mean it's going to be anything that actually changes market structure. It's probably just going to be a quick sweep that still holds a higher low here, at least holding these lows down here, right? We could sweep this. This is a potential sweep level. So, you know, sweep that, come back up. Who knows really what's going to happen here on the short term. These are just some things to keep note of, to watch on the charts, to build that fractal recognition if you do want to trade the market, so you can kind of understand how order flow is affecting price here on the short term. But what's actually really nice to see is after we had all these longs FOMO into the highs, you could see open interest was at this level right here, and open interest has almost reset all the way back down to that level. And not only that, but if we look at our net longs when these longs specifically were being opened. Open interest has reset all the way down to where those longers were FOMOing in. So potentially this is all that was needed for the short-term correction, indicating that the longs are potentially already out of the market and there's no reason to squeeze them to the downside anymore. We're holding this hourly EMA nicely. This certainly could be your low within here. It's the weekend, so there's not too much to go off of. There's a ton of different scenarios that could play out. It's likely we do just kind of range within here, and I'm not really sure which direction we're going to go, immediately on price action, but my thesis remains up from here on out, and we really just have to wait for traditional finance to open, which those futures will be opening later today, and then of course the US markets tomorrow. So it'll be real interesting to see which direction the S&P and dollar decide to go throughout this following week, and that really decides where price is going to go. But you know what I think? I think the low's already in. We're going to head up here, and we should see altcoins start to outperform Bitcoin and go absolutely ballistic to the upside, and we're already starting to see that. If we jump over here to total 3, you can see we're holding this golden pocket beautifully. This is exactly what we wanted to see here on the charts, and we do see Bitcoin dominance continue to fall, once again signaling altcoin season is upon us. Jumping out here to the macro on total 3, look at this fib I pulled in the bear market. This is where I was accumulating all of my altcoin bags and that sort of thing. Perfect entry there, but enough of me flexing. Let's go ahead and actually pull what I wanted to pull, which would have been a fixed range from our entire top end range of a previous bull market, and you can see the value area low of that range ends up right about where price is currently. So if we go ahead, let me actually get this right on it, and then we'll jump in here to an hourly time frame, and you can see this is a level that we have not quite cleared above yet, but we are bouncing right up against it after holding and finding support on the sweep of liquidity back here. So this is a big level to watch. Are we going to be able to reclaim the value area low on total 3 here, which would signal the violent rally to the upside, or are we going to potentially reject here and enter the bear market? That is yet to be seen, so we'll have to watch that closely. But if we do jump out here to a weekly time frame, you can see we have continually been holding this value area low, and I do expect it to act as support once again. I think all we were doing was sweeping the lows, getting that one last capitulation wick to the downside before heading up and starting altcoin season. So to wrap things all up, once again, we're in an important weekend range. The direction we break out of this range will really decide the future for crypto. Are we going to enter the next bull market and this was just a complete bust bear market rally type situation for our altcoins, or was this truly just reaccumulation before we start the true rally, the true euphoria in the markets? And I certainly expect the latter, and we have clear invalidations to the downside and things to be watching out for. Once again, just to rehash, this is our final level of support. It is a sweep level, so it's not saying if we break this that it's time to sell. No, it means if we are breaking it and closing down here, okay, maybe it's time to sell. But a sweep of this and getting back above, closing back above this is completely acceptable. But I have a reason to believe this is going to hold down here. This failed auction is going to hold, and we are structurally changing, making higher lows throughout here, higher highs throughout here. And I do expect the trend to continue until Bitcoin breaks out to the upside and we do fly all the way up to $75,000 to take out all of that topside liquidity. And I do believe during this next rally you will see expansion into risk on assets and the altcoin season finally playing out before the final top comes in anywhere from $75K to $300,000 Bitcoin, right? We have no idea where it's going to go. We will just have to play it day by day. So far, so good. Let's just be watching closely. And if you have any questions about anything I talked about or just want to join the community for this channel, link to my Discord is in the description down below. I also got a promotion going on with BingX right now where you can get a bunch of deposit rewards, that sort of thing, if you use my link down below. That is limited time, so make sure to go check that out. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.